welcome to another edition of Flea Market Fantasy, the world's second greatest Bronze Age era comic book podcast. Joining me, as always, is new Mike L, Kevin Jank.
You bet your moogies I'm here, Mike Dell.
At your movies. Wow, you're doing quotes from the comic book now.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah, Jank, we're back. This week it's your choice. Tell the kids what we're reading.
We're reading Hercules, Prince of Power, number 4 from 1982. This was the first of the two 80s 4-issue limited series of Hercules.
Yes, I had no idea there was even one. Apparently there were two.
So successful they demanded a sequel, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. The first one did prove popular, so that's why they did the second one.
Yeah. You can tell the end of this book was like trying to beg people, like, hey, write letters, get us another series.
So let's talk Hercules. How would you describe the character of Hercules, Jank? For those who don't know, this is the Marvel version of Hercules, of course. Apparently DC has a version of Hercules.
Oh, really? Well, I guess that makes sense.
I had no idea.
There's all the Wonder Woman and shit that has to do with Roman gods and stuff like that. So
that makes sense.
I guess that makes sense.
How would you describe the Marvel version of Hercules?
He's not too unlike the mythical version of Hercules. He's clearly based off of that, except he's even more in love with just drinking and whoring, basically.
Yeah. I've heard him described as a lovable lunkhead. He likes to drink, fight, and have the sex. So basically, it's like someone said, let's write a book about Kevin Jank, and let's call it Hercules. That's exactly what you are. You like to drink, fight, and have the sex. So he's a real big dude. He's got a beard, mustache.
Yeah. Burly bear of a man.
Yeah. And he's, oddly enough, the character, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby brought him to the Marvel Universe. And they based the character on what's the Greek? Hercules is the Greek version.
Okay.
Right.
I think Hercules is actually the Roman version, but
no. It's the other way around. Hercules is the Greek version because his dad's Zeus, and Hercules is the Roman name.
Oh, okay.
So they took the Roman name.
There.
Yeah, but they based it on the Greek mythology. So that's weird. I guess they just figured Hercules was a more popular name and culture than Heracles.
Yeah, nobody likes Heracles. It sounds weird.
Yeah.
It sounds highfalutin.
Because in the Roman mythology, Jupiter was his dad. Mm-hmm. Hercules' is dad. But of course, Greek it's Zeus. But yeah, he's just, what did he have to do in the Roman mythology? Didn't he have like the,
12 labors?
Yeah, the labors of Hercules.
Yeah, some of them were pretty lame from what I remember. Just like go muck out some stalls.
Yeah, you had to go clean the stall. Yeah, but these are like big horses. They're a lot of poop, you know? So you had to really clean that up. So anyway, his first appearance, this is a little weird, but originally his first appearance was in Avengers issue 10, November 1964, and he was a minion of the villain Immortus.
Yeah.
You familiar with Immortus?
Future version of Kang when he gets older.
Oh shit, that's right. I knew that name from somewhere. We talked about him on this here show before. He did a book with Immortus and Kang. But then in 1998, in a limited series called Avengers Forever, this Hercules was revealed to be an imposter.
Yeah.
So that wasn't the real Hercules.
Which makes sense. That Avengers Forever, it's very good. It's like 12 issues. Kurt Busiek wrote it, I believe. And it does a lot of that. Like, it fills in a lot of blanks. It retcons a lot of things, but in ways that they probably needed to get retconned. And it fills in a lot of blanks. And like at the back of it, there's this massive list of like all the issues. Like, this happened in this issue. This happened in this issue. So it did a lot of filling in some holes. So it makes sense that they would do that in there.
So Avengers Forever, is that like a story, or is it like a Marvel Universe situation?
It is a story. Yeah, there's basically, takes Avengers from different time periods, and they have to all team together to travel to all these time periods for whatever reason. I forget exactly what it all ended up being about, but yeah, there is an actual story. That's where Rick Jones and the son of Captain Marvel end up getting bonded together.
The son of Captain Marvel?
Yeah, he's got a son. Genisville or Genisville.
I was thinking Carol Danvers.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah, just like he had with the old Marvel. He had the same thing going on, basically, where they would swap out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you now. Yeah. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Kree Warrior, Marvel. Right?
Yep. The OG Captain Marvel.
All right, so then when that got retconned, his first true appearance was then Journey into Mystery Annual 1 from October 1965. And in this issue, he was established as a rival for Thor. Like
that makes sense.
Yeah, they like to mix it up and stuff, you know. And,
they both talk in that old-timey these and thous and verilies and all that stuff.
He was officially made a full-fledged Avenger in Avengers issue 45, 1967. But he wasn't like a regular or anything, right? He just bounced.
Yeah, I didn't think so. That seems earlier for that. I don't even remember him being a major part of the Avengers in like the 80s-ish.
Yeah, late 80s.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I think they like made him official member of the team, but he's one of them reserve member guys, you know, like he just flowed in and out or whatever. From 1977 to 78, he was part of the Champions.
Yeah, that's right.
And that lasted for 17 issues. We reviewed the Champions here on this podcast, I think in year 1. I remember picking an issue of that. Jank, can you name your Champions?
Ooh, I should be able to do this, but I probably won't. I'm going to say the original champions were Angel, Iceman, Hercules, Black Widow. Ooh.
Yeah, 4 out of 5. One more.
Wasn't Ghost Rider, was it?
It was Ghost Rider.
Oh, yeah.
That's such an odd combination of heroes.
Yeah.
Just like
it really was just like, we don't have books for these characters. Like, we don't know what to do with them, so let's throw them all together.
And Hercules was one of them. How do you feel about Hercules? Because I'll be honest, I never liked him. Like, back in the day, like in the 80s when he was I never really liked him. But
no, it's not a very good costume. It just looks very old-timey and Greek, and he's never been that exciting to me. I mean, different writers through the years have tried to make him entertaining, and I've read some recent Hercules stuff over the last maybe 20 years, and it's okay. It was never my thing, though.
Yeah, I was never a huge fan, but
no,
you know,
all that God stuff. I mean, it's not really my forte. And you got Thor for that, so it's like I don't need another whole universe of gods and
exactly. So after Champions, then Hercules wasn't doing too much. So Bob Layton kind of revived him here with this 4-issue limited series in 1982. And now this series is set in the 24th century.
Oh.
Did you pick up on that at all?
I did not.
I did not either.
No, especially considering that, you know, there's a Herald of Galactus who was not really a herald for that long, so.
Well, I guess he couldn't see into the future. He didn't know that she was going to be. But, yeah, it was set in the 24th century. I had no idea. But that's, but basically the premise of this, story we're reading today is he got in trouble with his dad Zeus for, running around with the fairer sex is how they describe it in this. Did you go back and look what he was doing?
No, I didn't know if it was just he was catting around too much or he was something specific that, you know, Zeus had his eye on and Hercules got in the way.
Apparently Zeus was trying to take a nap. Or he was like meditating or something. He was just taking a nap, you know, like I do after dinner every night.
Uh-huh.
And Hercules, he was out like in an adjacent room or somewhere playing grab ass with a bunch of ladies. And Zeus hears him causing a ruckus. So he goes running in, yelling at Hercules. And when he walks in, Hercules has like one lady on each arm, and he's like balancing a sofa or something on his hand. And there's a couple other ladies down there. They're not having the sex or anything. They're just doing parlor tricks or something. I don't know.
Oh, it's like that. What was that terrible movie, Barbarian Queen, where like Donald Pleasance was chasing those doves. He just doing shit like that to try to impress them.
I think catch him in a net. So Zeus was outraged, and he started yelling at Hercules and said, "You're just a fuck up there, Hercules. You got to go. I'm kicking you out of Mount. You can't stay here. You got to go out in the world, and you got to find get some humility. You know, you got to learn to be humble." And he said, "All right, well, how long do I have to be on Earth?" He goes, No, you're not going to Earth. You're going out into outer space. I'm sending you into space."
There's less ladies for you to chase around there, or so he thinks.
That's what this series is about. Hercules out in the soaring the space waves. Wait, is that what space waves?
Yeah, space waves, I would say.
I think that's what Silver Surfer used to call it. He's out there having intergalactic adventures in this 4-issue limited series. So that's odd, right?
That's it's taking him out of his element for sure. Again, it seems like, kind of like Champions, where you're just like, well, I want to do a Hercules book, but I don't really want to do anything about Hercules. So I really want to do a sci-fi book, so let's just couch it as that.
So that series was actually popular. So Bob Layton wrote and drew this series here today. And so he did the second series as well. And that was in 1984. It was also 4 issues. And it dealt with Hercules, who is now exiled from Mount Olympus. So he's completely kicked out, I guess. He's no coming back.
Wow. That's a lot of grab ass.
Yeah. But it's basically the same premise as the first one. There is also a graphic novel in 1982 called Full Circle, I believe. And Bob Layton also did that. It's Bob Layton. He loved Hercules.
Go back to Olympus after that one or something?
Yeah, I probably. Maybe that's what that happened there. So Hercules stayed with the Avengers then. He was a regular team member in the late 80s, as we mentioned. So I remember, I was buying some of those issues. Like, John Buscema was the artist, I think, during most of that run. But he left the Avengers during the Assault on Olympus storyline. And that was from issues 281 to 285 in 1987. So that's when he left the Avengers.
Okay.
He also had another 5-issue limited series in 2005. And then in 2008, this is probably something you know, Jack.
Yeah.
After World War Hulk. Do you want to explain this?
After World War Hulk, well, kind of during World War Hulk, they kind of were having the Hulk book. World War Hulk was like a limited series type thing where the big stuff was happening in those issues, like World War Hulk #1. So the Hulk book itself, they kind of just gave it over to Hercules, and it was kind of about Hercules and this kid Amadeus Cho, who was like this really smart kid. And them both kind of trying to look out for the Hulk, even though the Hulk was showing up pissed and basically a villain. But then once World War Hulk ended, I believe they just had the Hulk got his own new book just called Hulk, No Incredible Hulk. And they changed the name of the Incredible Hulk book to The Incredible Herc. And they've now started Hercules, but it kept the same numbering for some reason.
Yeah, it picked up at issue 113.
Yeah.
And it ended with issue 141.
Yeah.
So the Incredible Herc.
Good couple of years.
Ridiculous. And then also, the same creative team, I guess, Greg Pak and Fred Van Lent, I believe is his name. After that, they started a separate Hercules series just called Herc. And that lasted for 10 issues.
Yeah. Yeah, I read that one too, actually. That Greg Pak, apparently he really must love Hercules, unlike the rest of the world.
Yeah. And although I don't know, I think I did read they made him bisexual. Is that really what happened?
Oh, I don't remember that, no.
Apparently, from what I was reading. Well, there's an alternate universe version of Hercules. He said there's an alternate universe version. And this alternate universe version, Hercules had a love affair with Wolverine.
Oh, no.
Let's destroy 2 characters at once. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Because Hercules is known as a ladies' man.
Yeah.
We see plenty of evidence of it in this here issue we'll talk about today.
Yep.
But he's been with lots of ladies.
Automatically gets it done.
Yeah, he's been with lots of ladies in the Marvel Universe, like Black Widow. I read Snowbird from Alpha Flight. He was with her for a bit.
Hopefully she wasn't taking the form of an animal at the time.
Hey, don't judge. Don't judge. She-Hulk. Apparently there's a memorable one-night stand between She-Hulk and Hercules.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, She-Hulk had sex with the Juggernaut, too.
Oh, wow. How about that?
She's not discerning.
Anything else we should know about Hercules?
I don't think so.
Well, we mentioned the creator here is Bob Layton. And should we talk about him now or after? Let's talk about him after. Let's talk about him.
Okay.
That's how we used to do it in the old days. Do it that way.
Save it till the end. Save the good stuff.
All right, so let's look at this issue here, Jank. This is issue 4, the final issue of the limited series. And you picked this one because it has Galactus in it.
Yeah. It's not just another Galactus story, or so they promise in the title.
Yeah, that is the title of it. So why don't you describe this cover for us?
The cover, if you like the cover for Uncanny X-Men number 142, that David past issue where the Sentinel is blasting Wolverine, you're going to like this because it's pretty much the same thing, but with Galactus blasting Hercules.
I didn't even put that together until you mentioned it. Yeah, this is the exact same cover. That had to be
like a green background. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. That was only probably a year or so before this, so I'm sure that was fresh on people's minds.
But what I was, so it's got Galactus just blasting Hercules into smithereens. Like Hercules is in the foreground here, and his body's kind of like melting beneath the power of Galactus. Mm-hmm. And in the background, he said there's like green and black Kirby crackle. And here's something I just noticed looking at this. Look at the eye blast from Galactus. The one on the left, yellow with white in the middle. The one on the right, white with yellow in the middle.
Oh, look at that.
Did you even notice that?
No.
Yeah, like the first time I looked at this, I never noticed it.
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe he's got two different colored eyes. He's one of those people.
Yeah, I don't know. A little strange. But I mean, it's a pretty good cover. Like, gets your attention, I guess. You know, you see Galactus all big like that.
Yeah, I mean, you got Hercules' like skin melting off of his body. It looks like all right, this is going to be intense.
Also, the top, we have a Marvel Comics limited series, the ribbon at the top, and we have the number 4 there on the left. No corner box, though.
No. It's a little CC. Yeah, they didn't bother. Because they make this classy.
Because the title, Hercules, it's actually a little off-center when you look at it. But the letters for Hercules are like orange and then yellow at the bottom. But they're like falling down out of the top of the page, so they're really long, and I kind of like that.
It's an interesting look. They're all like the Hulk villain, the leader, just massive foreheads on these letters.
Yeah, exactly. So there it is. There's the cover. We open it up, and we see there's a robot.
Yeah.
There's a robot sitting in a chair, and there's some other guys tuning up this robot. And did they ever say
into one of these before? Actually, I think in a couple of years ago there was an Iron Man story that had to do with one of these Rigellian recorders who had kind of gone rogue and could remember things that he was supposed to have wiped clean, and he kind of went evil. But
there are the colonizers of Rigel, Rigel, extraterrestrial pioneers who explore the galaxies in search of new planets to settle, new information to add to their massive data banks. One of their most important tools in the acquisition of knowledge is the robot probes called recorders. One of these units has just returned from a fact-finding mission to reveal what it has learned to its masters. And apparently Master Computer 417 is what they're reporting to. But this robot, this recorder guy, he was sent to follow the activities of the god being known as Hercules, Prince of Power.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we learn this story, is because of this robot.
And his masters kind of look like slightly taller versions of the Great Gazoo from the Flintstones.
Yep, I can see that. Very much so. Yeah, they all got green armor on. And this robot's got like a green body, green gloves, green boots, orange legs, orange arms. Green, a human face looking thing, but
yeah, it's kind of Machine Man-esque a little bit.
Yes, very much so. Now, this is I find interesting. Hercules, he soars through space with a chariot drawn by 2 horses.
Yep.
Seems weird.
Hey, when you don't need to breathe, you can do whatever you want.
So the horses don't need to breathe either?
Nope, they're space horses. They're from that last, what was it? Yeah, that last Star Wars movie. Fucking space horses. They're riding around on top of a spaceship. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Well, the most recent Thor movie there, that God and Thunder, their ship was being powered by 2 goats.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
2 goats.
So horse, that's their step up.
So I guess the premise of this here book is Hercules saves a planet from destruction, right? Because this alien race was going to destroy this other planet, or they were like preparing this other planet to be sacrificed to Galactus, right? Is that the idea here?
Yeah, I guess they don't know it's Galactus. They just know they're going to sacrifice to their god.
Yeah.
Hercules stopped it. So now, the planet's very happy, very thankful to Hercules. They're going to throw this massive party. This is a planet basically of slug-like aliens.
Yeah, little snails. They got little shells on their back too, so I guess snails. They're good little guys. And they all got like red boots. They all go to the same store. They shop at the same store. They all have red boots. But they're nifty little fellas. And they're like, "Hey, Herc, you're the best, man. Thanks for saving our planet. Let's get drunk." That's basically
like the ones who like, yeah, we're not even angry about your horses eating 2 of our dock workers at the spaceport. And Herc's just like, yeah, sorry about that.
And Hercules, they're all just sitting around getting liquored up. And one of them was passed out in a chair saying, "Mommy." That was weird. And then, and then Hercules says, "By Zeus's beard in all my travels, the Prince of Power hath not experienced a more mirthful society than yours, Magistrate Peel." Now, has he always been known as the Prince of Power? Or is that something they just invented for this series? Because I got to tell you, it sounds pretty stupid.
It sounds very Masters of the Universe is what it sounds like. Kind of corny.
I don't like it. I don't like it. But then there's another little snail guy over there drinking, and he says, "If you're saying we know how to party, you bet your moogies." Which is what you quoted at the top of this here episode.
Gotta love this little space lingo.
Yeah, these little snails can put away the booze. But the one guy says, "Here, I got something special for you there, Herc. This is like my own moonshine. I make it out back." It's like super powerful.
It takes 10 years to make just this little vial full.
And he says, "Yeah, like don't take any more than just a drop or 2, because you'll be fucked up.
Put 1 drop in some water and you're good."
Yeah. So Herc's like, "Oh, all right,
fry your moogies off."
Hey, you don't want to fry your moogies off. So he's like, "All right, thanks." And he tucks it away in his little belt there. But here, Jank, someone's flying towards the planet, though. Who is this?
Someone who's on fire. The always confusingly named Herald of Galactus, Nova.
Yeah, this is Nova, Frankie Ray.
Yeah.
She's the foxy lady.
So weird, because then they have a whole, Nova Corps out there, but
different.
Completely unconnected.
Yeah, completely separate. This is Frankie Ray. We actually did an issue, Michael and I think the one with the big gold monkey, Fantastic Four, that issue with the big gold monkey. I think Frankie Ray was in that, because she used to date the Human Torch.
Yeah.
And then she volunteered to be a Herald of Galactus, and she went, and now she can fly through space, and she's all flame and everything. She can fly.
Crazy that she got flame powers after dating the Human Torch. It's like, Galactus have a sense of humor on this, or what?
Galactus, he's sneaky. So one of those little snail guys, they come in here and they say, hey, something shit's going down out here. But everyone's too drunk, except for Hercules, him and his robot recorder guy. They go running out, and here they see Nova standing there in the center of all these snails. Look, that one snail's clinging onto Hercules' leg there. He's like, "Oh my God, this lady's going to burn us all up." And he says, "Be gone, woman. This planet is under my protection." And she says, "Well, then defend it there, bucko." And
have the power. And then she just blasts him with her flames, and he's pretty much looks like he's burning to death.
But he just comes right out of it.
Yeah.
He's a god, you can't hurt him. Yep. He's a god. So then he grabs a big chunk of, I was concerned about this because, he grabs a big chunk of a building and throws it at her. But, what happened to the rest of that building? I'm guessing it collapsed and killed a bunch of snails.
Damage control in the 24th century.
But this Nova, she can fly like the speed of light or whatever, but, Herc picks her right out of the air at this, piece of the building, knocks her to the ground. She goes crashing into like the refinery or something. I don't know. Where did she go into? The whole,
yeah, she
right
hits
toward the refinery. How about that? Yeah, I nailed it. It was a refinery. And it blows up the whole building. So Hercules is destroying these poor snails' infrastructure.
Hey, he saved the whole planet. If you got a couple of buildings, I think he's earned it.
But Nova comes popping out of all the debris there. And then she looks at Hercules is like, "Hey, Have at thee then. Thy master shall not destroy this planet whilst a single breath remains in the breast of Hercules. And soon as Frankie Ray hears that he's Hercules, so what does she do there, Jake?
She's like, Herc, you're Hercules? The Hercules? From Earth? And he says, the same, woman. Golly, can we go somewhere and talk?
Yeah.
Not gonna do any talking.
So the minute she finds out he's Hercules, she's like, oh, I hear tales of this guy.
An Earther.
So now we cut to Galactus. He's up in a little flying basketball.
Yeah.
And he's like, where's that damn Nova at? She was supposed to be back here, you know. I want to know if this planet's ready for me to eat. And so then so he's like, I better go see this for myself. So he's going down to the planet, right? He goes, I'm going down there. And then Hercules, his robot buddy, comes to him to go get him. And Hercules says, shh, be silent, friend, recorder, lest thee awaken the maiden slumbering in our chambers. Man, he gave it to her good.
At least he learned to not wake people up when they're sleeping.
Yeah, that's true.
Proud.
That's a valuable lesson he learned from Zeus. But yeah, he just he banged her into unconsciousness.
Yeah, a herald of Galactus, even the power cosmic, could not protect her loins from the might of Hercules.
Hey, yeah, the recorder's like, interrogative. I'm not sure I understand. Has the danger passed? And Hercules says, let it simply be said, the fire is out. That's right, he put that fire out.
Kind of makes me like Hercules more.
Yeah, Hercules is pretty likable in this.
Yeah, he's winning me
out. So then the whole planet starts shaking and shit. It's like, hey, what's going on? And it's Galactus. He's coming down to the planet, or he's forming a spaceship like in the atmosphere of the planet. I don't know. I'm very confused about what's happening.
Yeah, I think he has to build his whole machinery thing, like his spaceship.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I remember he has to assemble like a whole a big machine that he can use to suck out the plant energy from the planet.
Yeah, so he doesn't just stab it with a straw.
Yeah,
sucking.
A little more complicated than that. He's got to put like a whole oil derrick up.
So Hercules and his recorder buddy, they go flying up to Galactus' ship, and Hercules changes clothes because the others are all reeking of sex. They had to go.
Gotta wear his Sunday best to meet Galactus.
So they get up there, and boom, they find Galactus standing there. And what happens?
Galactus is doing kind of a weird position here, where like one leg looks like it's propped up on nothing. Like one leg's definitely bent, the other one I think is supposed to be straight. So I don't know what he's doing there. Doing the Captain Morgan pose.
But Hercules is like, hey, I'm protecting this planet, so you're gonna have to scram. And he goes jumping up and gives him the old Roman Reigns Superman punch. Bang! Cracks him right across the jaw. And Galactus says, you dare strike Galactus? And then we get a recreation of the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And zapping him with his eye beams.
Live blast. And we see him, like Hercules reduced down to a skeleton. And then he goes even further and reduces him down to a puddle of slime. And then all of a sudden he just brings him back.
Yeah, he's like, I can destroy you and I can bring you back. That's just how powerful I am. I'm Galactus, damn it. Can Galactus really do that?
Superman punches ain't going to do anything. I guess he can. He's pretty extremely powerful, so.
He can just bring the dead back to life?
Yeah, probably.
I had no idea. So Galactus is like, all right, buddy, you can't do shit. So what you're going to do is you're just going to sit there and shut up while I prepare to destroy this planet. And Hercules is like, fuck, I guess I'm done. What can I do? That's too powerful.
He just sits there and tries to think for like, I think a couple of hours. He's basically sitting there.
He says, well,
just thinking.
I could try to have sex with it, but no, that's not going to work. Hey, by the thunder of Zeus, it may work. The Prince of Power hath a plan. And he pulls out his little, flask.
Moonshine, yeah.
That the snail gave him earlier. And he says, hey, Galactus there, buddy. Devourer of worlds. Hercules salutes thy besting of the son of Zeus. Wouldst thou care to join me in a drink? Now Galactus, he just says, so you have learned proper respect.
Yeah, I like that.
It is not yet time to activate the matter converter, so alright, yeah, let's just get drunk together. And he makes a big chalice for Galactus and a little chalice for Hercules. Now, I don't know a lot about Galactus. Like, all I know about him is basically, I really haven't read that many Galactus stories. I guess Silver Surfer, he's always kind of like standoffish with the Surfer. And then remember, he was involved in Secret Wars, wasn't he? Remember he was that giant guy? Yeah. But he never said a damn thing. He never said a damn thing in Secret Wars. Remember that?
Yep.
He just was standing there. So is he always this talkative in other stories?
Not that I've seen. Although maybe by the 24th century, things have changed.
Yeah, that's true.
He's gotten, he's getting old. He wants people to tell the stories too.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So they have their drinks there, but Hercules gets his robot guy to cause a little distraction, and then when Galactus isn't looking, he spikes his drink.
Uh-oh.
He pours that entire flask, not just one drop, the entire flask of that moonshine right into Galactus's drink there, and so they drink up, and what happens, Jake?
Galactus starts getting a little bit hot. And Hercules starts laughing. He's like, it shall get a great deal warmer in a few minutes. Base villain, for all thy great power, thou hast fallen prey to the simplest of deceptions. I lace thy drink with the most powerful intoxicant in the known universe. And Galactus is like taking off his helmet. He's basically pulling the, you remember that Simpsons episode where they had the drunk Mr. Rogers tape? And he's just like, what do you mean I can't take off my sweater?
I never saw that. But have you ever seen Galactus without his helmet on?
I don't think so, no. I think I've seen like the origin of Galactus where they showed him before he became Galactus, but I don't think I've ever seen him when he was Galactus take the helmet off.
See, I never read that origin, and I've never seen him without his helmet, so this is mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, it's got a unique hairstyle.
Yes, for sure. Galactus takes his helmet off, and how would you describe this haircut? It's
like
kind of like an old school Dracula looking haircut. Like it has the peak in the middle that comes way down low.
Yeah, the double lock almost.
Yeah, but then the beard is unique. It's like two. I don't know how to describe it.
It's like two eyebrows, but they point off of his chin.
Two arched eyebrows off his chin.
Like Agnes Moorehead eyebrows, but a little bit thicker.
Nice Agnes Moorehead reference. The kids are really gonna like that. Yeah. But man, it's a weird look. Black hair, black little beard, and no mustache or nothing, just the two eyebrow beards. And
like a weird blue like line in his hair that is
true, yeah.
What that's supposed to be.
At first I thought that was a reflection or a highlight, but no, yeah, that seems to be carved into his head or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Galactus is laughing at Hercules. He's like, "Oh, what are you talking about? I'm not drunk. I'm Galactus." Like,
Like I knew what you were up to.
Yeah.
This can't affect me anyway, but clearly it does because he's laughing, having a good time. He's like, "Oh, Hercules, you're crazy. I like you."
Yeah, I find you an amusing buffoon. And he starts laughing. And he says, "You know what, Hercules? I like you so much. I'm not going to destroy that planet. So, good on you, buddy. You saved a bunch of snails. All right, I'm sending you back." And he sends them back to the planet with the robot guy, and the snails are safe. And that's that, I guess, right?
Yeah, but then those Rigelians show up, and they're not happy. Like apparently you have to pay for these recorders, and Hercules has racked up quite the bill by having this recorder for so long. So they're like, "Well, we're going to repossess this thing until you pay your debts." And Hercules is all sad. He's like, "Oh, this one's my buddy. I want to keep him." Like, no, you got to pay this bill first. He's like, "Oh man."
Yeah, and the Snells they step in and say, "Well, we'll pay his we'll pay his bill, right?" Don't the Snells say that? And
yeah, it's true. But then they're like, "We're still going to take him for a little bit, and maybe once the snails pay, then you get him back." But he's like, the robot's in his mind. He's just like, and then I never saw Hercules again.
Yeah, but he was buddies with Hercules. Hercules and his robot were good chums.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
The robot said, he was like, "I want to stay with you. You're cool."
Yeah. You have lots of sex and fight and drink. It's awesome.
You let me watch and record it all. It gets a lot of hits on YouTube.
So the robot says, "That was the last time I ever saw Hercules. I assume he is now still living in Seagram 7, basking in the admiration of his diminutive admirers.
Hmm?
That's a shame. So poor little Hercules. Yeah, from Bob. Oh, no, Bob Layton. I'm talking to Bob. Yeah,
yep.
who's the editor? Flipping back. Let me see who the editor is. Shoot, where's the editor? We'll cut this out in post. Mark Grunwald is editor.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah,
he's got a little note here. He's like, we can't end it like this. You can't end the series on a downer like this. I want to know what happened to Herc.
Yeah, so then Bob Layton has to do an extra little page here. And we see Herc waving goodbye to the recorder fella. And he's like, I'm all alone. What am I going to do? I'm on this exile now. Without my recorder to navigate me. I seem destined to roam with no direction, purpose, or home. Would you care for a suggestion, handsome? And it's Nova, but she's in her human form.
He put that fire out earlier.
Yeah, I was wondering, can heralds do that? Can they turn back and forth?
I think she could, yeah. Maybe, or at least maybe that's something she learned by that point.
Well, she looks pretty foxy here in this little robe.
Yeah.
And she's got a big flowing red hair there. And he's like, well, what are we going to do? And she's just like, isn't Galactus going to be mad? She's like, nah, Galactus is a real pussycat underneath all that omnipotent stuff. Besides, at light speed, I'll catch up with him in no time. Has thou ever seen the antler dance ritual of Sirius 4? That's what Hercules asks her.
Yeah.
So,
that's his pillow talk.
Yeah, I'm guessing that means his wang. That's what he's talking about. And there it is. And that's the end of the series right there. That's how it ends. Him having more sex with Nova.
Yep.
So good on you, Hercules.
Much. Yeah, he's still out there grab assing.
Yeah, it's good job. Herc. So then we get a pinup from Bob Layton of Hercules. Yeah. Did you see that? He's out in space. He's lifting a dumbbell or something. I don't know what the hell he's lifting.
I think that's his hammer. He's got or his mace. I think it's a mace.
That's right. He had a mace.
Yeah. The big profile pic of Hercules in the back looks cool. The front picture of Hercules here, the main full body shot, not so cool.
Yeah, there's some weird shit going on there with his leg and his arms as well.
Yeah, the one arm just looks dead. His face looks weird.
Yeah, there's some trouble there with foreshortening Bob Layton was having there.
Yeah.
But, anyway. So there it is, Hercules. Let's talk some Bob Layton. Born in 1953. After high school, he started selling comic books out of his apartment. And one of his customers was Roger Stern.
Oh, wow.
Writer and editor. Of course, at the time, he wasn't at Marvel yet either. But they became chums, and he and Stern started their own fanzine called Contemporary Pictorial Literature.
Ooh,
so they started publishing that out of Layton's apartment, and this led to them working with Charlton Comics to publish their official fanzine called Charlton Bullseye. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then from working at Charlton, he met Wally Wood, famed artist Wally Wood, who did Daredevil back in the day. And so Bob Layton started working as Wally Wood's apprentice. And as part of his job as Wally Wood's apprentice, he was inking stuff, but he's also his job to deliver Wally Wood's art pages from Connecticut down to Marvel's offices in New York, on Manhattan there.
Oh,
so
well, gopher. Yeah,
so get a load of this, though. One day while he's delivering Woods' pencils, he walks by John Romita Sr.'s office, and he was the art director at the time, And he hears John Romita on the phone talking to somebody. He's like, I'm desperate. I need an inker to finish this issue of Iron Man. It's running late. We don't have anyone to do it. Find me an inker. Bob Layton hears that conversation, just sticks his head in the door and says, hey, I'll do it. I'll get it done here in 5 days. Take me 5 days to finish the whole book. 5 days. And he's like, and John Romita Sr. says, all right, kid, show me what you can do. So he gave him the pages.
Wow.
What the fuck?
Had he ever been an artist at all before this?
No, this was his first entry into working for Marvel or anything. So I'm sure
his own, on his own, was he working on art?
Yeah, well, he was Wally Wood's apprentice.
He was trying to be an artist at some point.
Well, he was working with Wally Wood. He was his apprentice. So I'm sure he told John Romita, hey, I'm inking with Wally Wood, and I did my own thing with Charlton or whatever, the fanzine. So, but anyway, whatever swayed him, John Romita Sr. actually said, all right, this strange kid walking down my hallway, I'm going to give him these pages to Iron Man. You wake him. So now the problem is, he had no way to do this within 5 days. He's like, there's no way I can ink a whole book in 5 days. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So he got a bunch of his buddies to help him, and his buddies just happened to be other young inkers you may have heard of, Bob Wyasek and Terry Austin and like Joe Rubenstein and a couple other guys. I guess they were all working with Wally Wood or I think they were working with Neil Adams and stuff as apprentices, but they were chums. So they all helped him out, and he finished the issue and he turned it in. They liked what he did, and he said, the next thing I know, John Romita Sr. sent over more pages of Champions, and he says, you're the regular inker on Champions.
Wow.
It's nuts the way this all happened. Like, you read these, like, origin stories for these creators in the 70s and shit. It was just like, oh, I just showed up one day at Marvel and said, hey, can I have a job? Sure, you're writing Captain America. Wait, what?
I'm 16 years old. I wrote a letter one time. You're hired.
You're now assistant editor here at Marvel Comics. Wait, what? How does this happen? That's how he got in with Marvel. And I guess that's what started his love of Hercules, because his first book he was inking was Champions, you know. So after he did that for like about a year, then DC came and they offered him an exclusive 1-year contract to go to DC, and he said it was a lot of money, so he went, or at least more money than he was getting at Marvel. So he went to DC and started working there, and he became the regular inker on All-Star Comics, and he was a regular contributor to a bunch of other stuff. But then in 1978, he went back to Marvel, and he teamed with David Michelinie on Iron Man.
Yeah, that's right.
And this is his big run. This is what he's most known for, Iron Man, I would say.
I would think so, yeah.
Because that first run was from issue 116 to 154, and that was the Demon in a Bottle storyline.
Yes.
Tony Stark's a drunkard.
Yes. Although much less successful at being a drunk than Hercules. Hercules manages to save the world by getting drunk. Iron Man, not so much.
I've never read that. Have you read? I guess you read The Demon in a Bottle?
Yeah, I got it on trade paperback a couple years ago and read it. It's pretty solid.
Okay. Yeah, I've never read it. During that run, they also introduced Justin Hammer and James Tuffy Rhodes. Hey, we got a buddy named Tuffy.
I didn't know he was Tuffy. I never heard that.
Oh, you didn't know his nickname was Tuffy Rhodes?
No.
Oh, yeah. Tuffy Rhodes. Unless I'm just making that up right now. Pretty sure it's James Tuffy Rhodes, yeah. The duo had a second run on Iron Man from issue 215 to 250, and that was from 1987 to 89, and that run there included the Armor Wars.
The Armor Wars? Yep.
Yeah, so he has, like, those are, like, the two definitive Iron Man storylines, right? Demon in a Bottle.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, I believe Michelinie left, and Marvel was like, wow, Armor Wars did great. We need an Armor Wars 2. And like, Bob Layton, you're the last guy left here, so you're going to do it. And Bob Layton, I think, did one issue kind of setting it up in theory, or just kind of a link issue, and then left Marvel.
He did 2 issues actually. He wrote and drew the first one, then I think he just wrote the second one, and then he left.
Yep.
But I think they were like issues 256, somewhere around there. 56, 57, or 55, 50, somewhere around it. So it was like a 5-issue gap or something after that first one. But, then he left. And, also in 1984, he designed the Secret Wars toys for Marvel. Or at Mattel. Those Mattel toys.
Great.
Yeah, he designed those. And in 1986, he wrote the first 5 issues of X Factor. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Jackson Gleese was the artist, but he was the original writer, and then he handed it off to Louise Simonson.
Yeah,
and she became more famous with X Factor, like synonymous with X Factor. But yeah, he actually started as the writer. But when he left Marvel though in '89 after the Iron Man thing, he co-founded Valiant Comics with Jim Shooter.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's what he did there. And then he came back to Marvel a little bit later, like years later, and then he started some other company for published comics. But he's a pretty big deal in the comics world, this Bob Layton guy.
Yeah, sounds like it. Multiple companies. That's pretty good.
I was never a huge fan of him, like, cause again, I didn't read the Iron Man stuff. So, but every once in a while, I'd counter him. I mean, I'd see his stuff and I'd be like, yeah, it's fine. It's perfectly solid. But,
this was very, I would say, yeah, this is what you would expect for a comic from this era. It definitely exemplifies that type of style.
I think the big thing here is with this book here with Hercules. It seems like he was the guy who kind of made Hercules more likable and, instead of an arrogant jerk, more like a lovable lunkhead, like we said.
Yeah, a lovable oaf.
Because I guess his early depiction, he was like very godly. The 60s stuff, he was like, arrogant and highfalutin.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I could see Stan Lee doing that for sure.
So, what did you think of the writing here from Bob Layton?
You know what? I liked it. I don't really have many complaints about it. They're pretty much just painting Hercules as, a guy who likes to drink and bang ladies. So
yeah,
I can't really complain about anything that happened here. Galactus getting drunk and taking his helmet off was fun.
Yeah, that's the right attitude to have about this. It's a fun issue. Because I don't know, like Galactus, that seems very weird that he's acting that way, but whatever, like he just says, all right, let's have a drink. It seems odd. I don't know if that's, but I don't know. But you said it's kind of like a different universe or 24th century or whatever, so who knows? Galactus has changed.
He's mellowed.
But the little snail guys were funny. I thought, it was fine, and Nova just coming down, hey, let's go have sex. All right, sure, let's do that.
Yeah, it's hard to complain about this depiction here.
It's fun.
It definitely sold me on Hercules more than I've ever been sold before.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I would say. It's the most likable I've ever found Hercules.
Yeah.
In this book. Sure, the plot's a little weird with drinking Galactus and everything, just drinking. Yeah, okay, but whatever. It's fun. Don't overthink it. How'd you feel about the art?
The art I thought was pretty good. It's not going to be one of my favorites of all time, but Bob Layton is damn solid. Hercules looks pretty cool. The slug guys look great. Galactus looks great. Frankie Ray, especially at the end there.
Yeah, she looked awesome.
Very good. Yep. So I thought this was damn solid for 1982.
Yeah, when I think Bob Layton, I just think a professional comic book artist, very solid. It's never going to be terrible, but I don't think it's ever going to be great either.
Yes, exactly.
There,
Yeah, it's perfectly serviceable.
Yes, I guess that's fine. Not a lot to complain here about this Hercules book. It's fun. You get to see a bunch of little snail guys in red boots. Hercules has the sex with Nova. Hercules gets Galactus drunk. Galactus takes off his helmet. Yeah. I've never seen that. I didn't even think he could take his helmet off. Like I was like, wow, that's crazy.
That just opens up a whole lot of questions about Galactus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, where did he first see a beard like that? So,
probably wasn't on Soap.
Oh yeah, Soap reference. One of my favorite TV shows. But Jank, when you read that origin of Galactus, did he have that wacky beard?
I think so. Yeah.
So I guess it's a Kirby creation then.
Yep.
That is a very Jack Kirby thing. I'd say.
Very angular, yeah. Even kind of like the angles on his helmet. So I guess maybe that's why they went with it.
But all right, so there it is. So Hercules, issue 4, 1982. I give it a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's dead nuts on. Not perfect, but more fun than it had any reason to be.
Correct. I enjoyed it way more than I expected.
Hercules,
so did I. I did not. Did you expect this to be taking place in outer space in the 24th century? I did not.
Well, I flipped through them all, so yeah, I kind of realized that most of it was in space.
I figured this would be a these and thous and that kind of thing going back to Greek mythology. So yeah, the fact that it's out in outer space, there's a robot, there's a bunch of little snail guys, a Nova, and a robe. Yeah, it was great. All right, 7 out of 10. All right, next week, Jank.
Yeah.
Oh, well, before we get to the next week, I guess we should mention that there's all kind of talk now that Hercules is going to be the next big thing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. People are saying. Because he was in the post-credit scene in Thor: God, Love and Thunder. Hercules was in the post-credit scene.
I think they've announced all the lineup for the next 3 years, and I don't remember.
That's what I
talking about Hercules, so it's going to be a while.
And I read somewhere where the actor who played Hercules he said, yeah, it was just a one-off, and he hasn't heard of anything, or maybe he's just keeping a secret. But when I was
Hercules,
when I was trying to read up on Hercules, I just saw a bunch of headlines. Why Hercules could be the next big thing in the Marvel, and I'm like, if he says so. Maybe he'll get one of them Hulu series or whatever, Disney Plus series.
Yeah, Disney Plus, yeah.
Or would you be excited to see Hercules on the big screen?
Sure. I mean, not excited, but I guess I'd be cautiously interested.
Is Hemsworth supposed to do another Thor movie, or is he done?
I know he was kind of, a little bit over it seemed like, with this last one. So I think he said if they were going to do one more, he'd want it to be something very different. Not like this one.
Yeah, make it good, because that last one wasn't.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing the next one could be Thor and Hercules,
That would be interesting. Yeah. I could see that.
Maybe they're both trying to win the affection of a maiden. Like maybe old Natalie Portman comes back as Valkyrie, and they're trying to woo her. One of them deals. Make it a romantic comedy, but with superheroes. Boom. Just wrote your movie for you. Thank me later.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
So, all right. So next issue, we're sticking with the theme of Marvel Universe. See why I had to do that little diversion to bring it back so it works as a segue to next issue. There is a new Marvel movie out. I guess, did it come out yet by the time we're recording this?
It'll come out next week, I believe.
Ant-Man. What's it called? Quantumverse?
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Quantumania. Chris Hemsworth.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Chris Hemsworth, I think his next movie is Hulk Hogan. Maybe is that Hulkamania? Is that what that's called? Hulkamania? The movie?
Oh, could be.
Yeah. He's playing Hulk Hogan. So this is Ant-Man and Quantumania. We're going to go Marvel Premiere issue 47.
Hey.
This is the first appearance of Scott Lang as Ant-Man.
Oh, nice. Number 47?
Yeah, number 47, Marvel Premiere. I forget what year this is. I think it's 70-something. But
okay.
The first appearance of Scott Lang.
I know a little bit about the origins of Scott Lang, so I'm wondering if this is like Darren Cross and all that kind of stuff already, or
Darren Cross.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what year this is, just to confirm. And again, this is Marvel Premiere, not to be confused with Marvel Preview. And the art team, David Michelinie's the writer, John Bird and Bob Layton are the artists. So we get more Bob Layton.
Right. Yeah.
And of course, this digital version does not have what year this is, so that's nice. I think it was like 77-ish.
That sounds about right.
That sounds good. But
yeah.
So I never really knew anything about Scott Lang until the Ant-Man movies.
He's definitely bounced around a bit. Like in the Alias series where they brought out Jessica Jones. She was actually dating him for a while before she officially got made it official with Luke Cage.
Crazy.
And she just kind of painted him as like super boring. Kind of like, I don't even know why I'm going out with this guy.
Well, I guess he was a security, we'll talk about it next week, but he installed security systems. That was his gig.
Yeah.
1979. This came out, 1979. So
okay.
There you go. Hey, and the editor is Roger Stern. We talked about him earlier.
Hey.
All right.
I can't wait.
Issue 47. So that's next week. And until then, don't get any jank on you.